Hello everyone, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're diving into the moment. Tu Tien is cornered on a lonely road by a stranger, demanding money until Jack races in to save her, and a shocking truth is revealed. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. The morning after the court hearing feels strangely normal, like the world is trying to pretend nothing happened. Jack is up before sunrise, moving quietly through the house so he doesn't wake Anna too early. The air is still cool, the kind that makes the kitchen tiles feel cold under bare feet. Mother Ly is already awake, sitting at the table with a cup of warm water, listening to the distant sounds outside, dogs shifting, a motorbike passing somewhere down the lane. Jack pours tea and glances toward the bedroom. Tu Tien is still resting, curled on her side. She'd barely slept after the trial. Not because she was afraid anymore, but because her heart wouldn't stop running through the same question. How can you feel relief and sadness at the same time? Mother Ly lowers her voice. Is she okay? Jack exhales. She's trying to be. That's what worries me. She cried a little last night, Mother Ly admits. Not loud, just quiet. Jack nods, jaw tight. She keeps saying she doesn't want to hate anyone. Mother Ly looks down at her hands. That is who she is. A small sound comes from the bedroom, and Jack turns. Tu Tien appears at the doorway, hair tied up loosely, wearing a soft sweater. Her face is pale but calmer than yesterday. She forces a small smile like a habit. "Good morning," she says. Jack stands immediately. "Hey, how are you feeling?" "Better," she answers quickly, then adds softer, "A little tired." Mother Ly pats the chair beside her. "Sit down, eat something first." Tu Tien hesitates, then sits. Jack sets a bowl of warm porridge in front of her, careful, like he's handling something fragile. "I can eat on my own," she murmurs, embarrassed. "I know," Jack replies, gentle. "Let me take care of you anyway." For a moment, the kitchen is quiet except for Anna's tiny footsteps as she wanders in, rubbing her eyes. She climbs onto Mother Ly's lap, sleepy and warm, and the whole room softens. Tu Tien watches Anna, and her expression turns tender. She's grown so fast. Jack's voice is low. "That's why we protect this life. We don't let anyone pull it apart again." Tu Tien nods, but something flickers behind her eyes, an old fear that won't fully leave. After breakfast, Jack gets ready for work. The project sites won't pause, not even for family pain. He checks his phone, grabs his helmet, and slings his bag over his shoulder. "I'll be back before dinner," he promises. Tu Tien walks him to the gate. "Don't rush, just drive safely." Jack pauses at the gate, studying her face like he's memorizing it. "If anything happens, you call me immediately." Tu Tien tries to laugh it off. Nothing is going to happen. The trial is over. Jack doesn't smile. "That doesn't mean everyone is gone." She nods, not arguing. "Okay, I'll call." He leans in, kisses her forehead, then crouches to Anna's height. "Be good for Grandma, okay?" Anna nods seriously, then points at his shoes as if that's the most important detail in the world. Jack chuckles, stands, and heads out. At the construction site, Jack becomes a different version of himself. Focused, commanding, calm. He walks the line where concrete is setting, checks steel placement, corrects a measurement without raising his voice. The workers respect him because he doesn't cut corners. He calls one of his staff. "Send me the updated checklist for the next inspection. I want everything clean." "Yes, boss," the worker replies. Jack keeps his eyes on the site, but part of him stays at home. It's like his body is at the job, but his mind is still standing at the gate, watching Tu Tien's small wave. Back at the house, Tu Tien tries to keep the day steady. She waters the vegetable beds Jack built for her tomatoes, chili plants, a small line of greens. The garden looks like hope made visible. She even hums a little as she works, as if the sound can convince her body to cooperate. Mother Ly watches from the porch with Anna nearby, playing with a plastic cup and a stuffed toy. You don't have to do everything, Mother Ly calls out. Tu Tien wipes her hands. I feel better when I move. Mother Ly studies her. Do not push yourself. I'm not, Tu Tien insists, smiling. I'm just living. Later, Tu Tien straps on her small basket and decides to harvest oranges. It's not a big trip, just a familiar path, a routine that used to calm her. She tells Mother Ly she'll be back soon. Mother Ly frowns. Do you want me to come with you? Tu Tien shakes her head gently. No, Anna needs you. I'll be quick. I just want a few baskets. She heads out alone, the way she used to before everything turned complicated. The trees are bright with fruit. The air smells clean. For a while, it almost feels like the old life is returning. She works slowly, picking the best oranges, placing them carefully so they don't bruise. Her hands move automatically, but her mind drifts. The trial, Jack's face when the sentence was read, the strange ache of seeing someone receive punishment and still feeling grief. By midday, her basket is full. She ties it, lifts it onto her shoulder, and starts walking back. That's when she hears footsteps behind her. Not fast, not loud, just following. Tu Tien slows slightly, her shoulders tightening. She turns her head, expecting to see a neighbor or a villager. Instead, she sees a man standing a few steps away, blocking part of the path. He looks rough around the edges, eyes sharp, posture confident in a way that feels wrong. He forces a smile. Tu Tien, right? Tu Tien freezes. His voice sounds familiar in an unpleasant way, but her mind can't place it. That emptiness in her memory opens like a hole. I'm sorry, she says carefully. Do I know you? The man's smile shifts. It's not friendly anymore. You don't remember me? Tu Tien swallows. No. He clicks his tongue, fake sympathy. What a shame. You forget people so easily. But you sure didn't forget how to ruin lives. Tu Tien's heart begins to race. What are you talking about? He steps closer. My mother is in prison for 5 years. 5 years. And you want to act innocent? Tu Tien's hands tighten around the basket strap. I didn't put anyone in prison. The police did. The court did. He scoffs. You stood there and talked. You made her look like a monster. Tu Tien shakes her head, voice trembling but controlled. I was attacked. I was left in the forest. I was the victim. The man's eyes narrow. Victim. That word must feel good in your mouth. Tu Tien takes one step back. Please move. I need to go home. He doesn't move. Not yet. Her stomach drops. What do you want? His tone turns cold. You owe me. If you want peace, you pay. Tu Tien's breath catches. Pay you? For what? For what you did to my family, he snaps. Give me money, then I leave. Tu Tien's voice breaks. I don't have money. He smiles again, ugly this time. Then call your husband, Jack, right? The hero. Tu Tien stares at him, fear rising like heat under her skin. Her mind screams that she needs to run, but the path behind her feels suddenly too narrow. I'm not calling anyone, she whispers. The man leans in. You will, or you will regret it. Tu Tien's hands begin to shake. She glances toward the trees, toward a patch of thick bushes, a hiding place, a chance. The man follows her gaze and smirks. Thinking of running? Tu Tien forces her face to stay calm, like Jack taught her, like survival taught her. I just don't understand, she says softly, buying seconds. Who are you? His eyes harden. My name is Tien. The name hits her like nothing at all, no memory, no image, just a heavy shadow with no shape. Tien takes another step forward, and Tu Tien makes her choice. She drops the basket, turns sharply, and runs. Tu Tien runs hard, not straight down the path, but sideways into the uneven grass, and toward the thicker trees, where the ground dips and the branches hang low. Behind her, Tien shouts her name like he owns it. She doesn't look back. Her boots slip once on loose dirt, and she catches herself with a hand on a tree trunk. The cold bark scrapes her palm, but she keeps moving. Her lungs burn. Her basket of oranges is abandoned on the path, but she doesn't care. Right now, the only thing that matters is distance. She spots a cluster of bushes near a shallow ditch and drops into it, crouching so low her knees press into wet leaves. She covers her mouth with her sleeve and forces herself to breathe quietly. Footsteps pound closer, then slow. Tien's voice cuts through the quiet. Tu Tien, don't be stupid. She squeezes her eyes shut. Her mind flashes to Jack's face, his steady voice, his hands holding hers, the way he promised no more hiding. She fumbles for her phone with shaking fingers, trying to keep it silent. The screen lights up too bright in the shade. She turns her body to block the glow and taps Jack's name. One ring, two. Tu Tien? Jack answers immediately, the sound of wind and distant machines behind his voice. What's wrong? Her voice comes out thin. Jack, there's a man. He stopped me on the path. He's threatening me. Jack's tone changes, sharp and focused. Where are you? I'm near the orange trees, she whispers. On the narrow path back. I ran into the bushes. I'm hiding. Are you hurt? No, she says quickly, then swallows. I'm scared. Jack inhales once, like he's taking control of his own heartbeat. Listen to me. Do not move. Stay hidden. Keep the phone on, but don't speak unless you need to. I'm coming right now. Jack. Tu Tien starts, but a branch snaps nearby. She freezes. Jack hears it through the phone. He's close? Tu Tien barely breathes. Yes. Okay, Jack says, voice low and steady. I'm on my way. Just stay quiet. If he gets too close, call me again, even if you can't talk. I'll hear it. Tu Tien nods even though he can't see her. On the path, Tien's footsteps shuffle back and forth like he's searching. He mutters curses under his breath. Then he raises his voice louder, mocking. You think Jack can save you every time? Tu Tien presses her forehead to her knees, holding back a sob. After a long minute, the footsteps drift away slower now, like he's pretending to leave to trick her. She doesn't move. She stays in the bushes until her legs go numb, until her fingers ache from gripping the phone too tight. Then she hears the sound she recognizes more than anything. A vehicle turning fast onto the dirt lane, engine pushed harder than usual. Jack. The tires crunch gravel. The dogs in the distance start barking, not at the house this time, but somewhere down the path. Jack's car door slams. Footsteps run heavy, urgent. Tu Tien, Jack calls, loud enough to carry. She forces herself to answer softly, careful. Here! She crawls out from the bushes and stands too quickly. The world tilts for half a second, but Jack is already there, catching her shoulders like he was afraid she'd disappear again. His face is tight with fear and anger. He checks her from head to toe, hands quick but gentle. Are you okay? He asks again, like the answer might change. Tu Tien nods, breath shaking. I'm okay. Jack pulls her into his chest, holding her so close she can feel his heart pounding through his jacket. I told you, he murmurs into her hair. You call me. You did the right thing. Tu Tien clings to him, and the relief hits her so hard her knees soften. She whispers, he was so close. Jack pulls back just enough to look at her. Who was it? Tu Tien's voice trembles. He said his name is Tien. Jack's eyes darken instantly like a door closing. Tu Tien notices and frowns. You know him? Jack doesn't answer right away. He turns his head sharply, scanning the path and the trees, searching for movement. Where did he go? Jack asks. I don't know, Tu Tien admits. He was looking for me, then I heard him walk away. Jack clenches his jaw. He steps forward, voice carrying across the empty lane. Tien, come out. No answer, only wind moving through branches. Jack turns back to Tu Tien, lowering his voice. Get in the car, now. She hesitates. My oranges. Forget the oranges, Jack says, firm. I'll buy 10 baskets tomorrow. You're not staying here one more second. Tu Tien nods and walks quickly with him toward the car. Halfway there, she glances behind him, still afraid Tien will appear again. Jack notices and moves his body slightly so he's between her and the trees. It's a simple gesture, but it says everything. I'm here. I'm not letting you stand alone. They reach the car. Jack opens the passenger door and helps her in, then circles the vehicle like he's checking for threats. He gets in, locks the doors, and starts the engine. Tu Tien's hands are still shaking in her lap. Jack keeps his eyes on the road, voice controlled but burning underneath. He demanded money. Yes, Tu Tien whispers. He said I ruined his family. He said, I have to pay to have peace. Jack grips the steering wheel harder. He used his mother's prison sentence to pressure you. Tu Tien swallows. He said his mother is in prison for 5 years. Jack lets out a bitter breath. Because she tried to destroy you. Tu Tien turns toward him, confused. Jack, why did he talk like he knows me? Jack's throat tightens. He hesitates just a second. Then he answers, carefully, like he's stepping on broken glass. Because he does, Jack says. Tu Tien's eyes widen. Who is he? Jack's voice is low. He's your ex-husband. The words land heavy, like a stone dropped into water. Tu Tien stares at him, her mouth opening but no sound coming out. Her memory offers nothing, no face, no house, no past, only the unsettling feeling that something dark is hidden behind a locked door in her mind. I don't remember, she whispers. I know, Jack says quickly, softer now. And maybe that's mercy, because the man you used to be afraid of is standing on that road again, trying to take control of your life. Tu Tien's eyes fill with tears, not just from fear, but from the shock of being told her past is worse than she can recall. Jack's voice cracks slightly. I'm sorry you had to meet him like that. I wanted you protected. Tu Tien wipes her cheek, breathing uneven. He said he'll come back. Jack nods once, eyes hard. He can try. They arrive home faster than they should. Mother Ly is already outside, having received Jack's earlier call when he rushed off the site. Her face is pale with worry. Anna stands close to her, holding onto her sleeve. When Tu Tien steps out of the car, Mother Ly rushes forward and grabs her hands. Are you hurt? Mother Ly asks, voice trembling. Tu Tien shakes her head. No, Jack came in time. Mother Ly's shoulders sag with relief. She pulls Tu Tien into a hug, holding her longer than usual, like she's trying to anchor her to the earth. Jack walks up, keeping his voice steady for Mother Ly's sake. Mum, take Anna inside, lock the door, stay in the living room. Mother Ly looks at him, alarm rising. What happened? Jack glances at Tu Tien, then back to Mother Ly. Someone confronted her on the road. We're safe now, but we're going to the police. Tu Tien's stomach twists. Do we have to? Jack turns to her. Yes, we do this the right way. No hiding. Tu Tien nods slowly. Okay. Before they leave, Jack crouches in front of Anna and brushes her hair back gently. Stay with Grandma. Daddy will be back soon. Anna looks at Tu Tien's face, sensing the tension, and reaches for her mother's hand. Tu Tien kneels, forcing a calm smile for her daughter. Mummy is okay. Mommy just got scared for a moment. Anna hugs her neck, tight. Tu Tien closes her eyes, holding her daughter, like she's holding a reason to survive every storm. At the police station, the lights are harsh, and the chairs feel too hard. Tu Tien sits beside Jack, hands folded, trying to keep her breathing even. Officer Thu steps out to meet them, her expression serious but controlled. Jack, she says, then turns to Tu Tien. You're safe? Tu Tien nods. Yes. Officer Thu gestures them into a small room. Tell me everything. Slowly. Tu Tien explains how she was harvesting oranges, how she was stopped, how the man demanded money, how she hid and called Jack. Jack fills in details, including the name and the confession. Officer Thu's eyes narrow slightly. Xiang? Jack nods once. Yes. Officer Thu makes a note. We'll handle this, but you need to understand this situation is not finished just because the court case ended. Sometimes the people around the case become the next problem. Tu Tien's voice shakes. I don't remember him. That scares me. Officer Thu's expression softens, just a little. Then we will treat you as someone vulnerable. We will not assume you can predict his behavior. You will be protected. Jack leans forward. What can we do tonight? Officer Thu speaks clearly. First, file the report. Second, avoid isolated routes. Third, keep your phone on. If he shows up again, call immediately. Jack nods, jaw tight. He threatened to come back. Officer Thu looks him in the eye. Then we will be ready. On the way home, Tu Tien sits quietly, staring out the window at the dark road. Jack reaches across the console and takes her hand. She squeezes his fingers, small and grateful. I'm sorry, she whispers. I didn't mean to cause trouble. Jack's voice is firm but gentle. You didn't cause anything. You survived it. Tu Tien's eyes glisten. I don't want to be the reason you keep fighting. Jack turns his head slightly toward her, without taking his eyes off the road. You're not the reason I fight. You're the reason I come home. When they pull into the yard, the porch light is on. Mother Loy is waiting in the doorway, Anna already drowsy in her arms. For a moment, the house looks peaceful again. But inside all of them, something has shifted. They know now that trouble doesn't always explode like a fire. Sometimes it arrives quietly on a narrow path, wearing a familiar name, and this time, Jack is not going to wait for it to get closer. Jack spends the day at the construction site, giving instructions and checking progress. At home, Tu Tien tends the vegetable garden and harvests oranges to sell. On her way back, she is stopped by Chien, her former husband, who pretends to worry about her health, then blames her for Mrs. Thu's 5-year sentence. Because Tu Tien's memory is still unstable, she doesn't recognize him and calmly says she was the victim. Chien turns aggressive, demanding money before he will leave. Terrified, Tu Tien stalls, then slips away, hides in the bushes, and calls Jack for help. Jack abandons work, drives home fast, and confronts Chien, warning him to stay away or face legal consequences. Chien retreats, but promises he will return, leaving a new shadow over their fragile peace. Tu Tien clings to Jack, shaken, realizing danger isn't truly gone,